Hey, I think while I'm at it, while I'm recording, I'll give you I did 4 journals yesterday and 2 are up already. So I'll give you the other 2. It was an interesting day. This is from January 4th, 2011. The second of the day, Mayan day, was 2 night or house. And it's called, Would You Trade Curiosity for Joy? Ditching Mind. Well, again, I felt the difference in my own consciousness, but not until I had journaled. In that last journal, it came through to me. I don't know if you can perceive it, but maybe you can if you're in heart. That's a given with all of my journals, being in heart to read or to listen to them. In my earlier journals, I would say this so often to help bring you along. Maybe it was a new idea back then. With these later ones, though, I've given off doing that quite so much. No need to irritate. After all, you're not stupid. I just trust that you know. But I say this for the new ones who come recently to my journal work. I neither know nor care what the message is that you take from this while you're in head. I'm not saying that, whatever it is that you think is being said there. This comes strictly from heart, and if you would get it at all deeply, you must go there. Be there with me. We had a partial solar eclipse today. Up to 86% of the sun was occluded if you were in the right place to see the fullness of it. Quite a show, I'm sure. I didn't see it. It's not visible here in the US. Eclipses always seem to bring on changes, whatever else they are or do. Now, people have all sorts of ideas about how this works, about what is acting there. I couldn't care less. It doesn't matter, really, now does it? It's enough for me to note the changes and go on. Let everybody else argue about all that stuff. Does astrology work or does it not? Who cares? It's great fun living life such that, now what am I saying here? It's great fun living life such that what is enough, whatever it is. There's no need to go for the deep mental understanding that drives so much of life, that used to drive my life anyway. Not at all now. Mental understanding just doesn't matter. Just now in my journey, not at all. And maybe that will come back online more strongly at some other point. I don't know. I don't care. I'm content with what is. For instance, lately, my solar plexus area, around the belly button, keeps getting hot. Now, according to the Syrian High Council, the third strand of DNA is connected with that chakra. They say that the first 2 strands are connected with the base chakra and the next one up, what I was taught to call the seat of the soul, the belly chakra, whatever. Anyway, they say that yeah, that's what I just said. Okay, and as the third strand of DNA is woven in with the 2 pre-existing ones, this will activate the power chakra, the solar plexus. This, according to the Syrian High Council through Patricia Corey. Well, that's nice. That's interesting, but it really doesn't matter, does it? What is true is that that's the way it is. That part of the body often gets hot. It doesn't matter why, it just is. You see? It's not necessary to understand mentally what is going on. Now be in heart, okay? Or you're going to be resisting this. That's what it would help so many to let go of. The burning need to know. That is mind. That is also identification with mind. That's what's acting there. We get the idea that we are that really is us. We forget that we have a mind. We are not the mind. And so, in my view, that's what we have to step back from, this tight identification with mind. Are you seeing that? Do you see how it works? These things come to us from within us, and we just automatically identify with them. We haven't been taught any different. We take them for us, for being a part of us. Well, they're not. They're part of the illusion here. They are not what is real. You are that. Now, you won't know this, of course, until you try it out. You've got to step back from this for yourself. Find out what that feels like. See if it works for you. Give it a fair shake. It doesn't matter if it works for everyone else on the earth. It must work for you, or it's no good. No good for your path. It's not truth if it doesn't stand up. It's a challenge, I know. Well, so what? One of the first things you might want to be suspicious of is your willingness to consider anything at all as greater than you. It's just not. This is all an illusion of sorts, remember? And you create that. You help to do so. You are much more in charge of things than you currently know. And so am I. It just works that way. We're pulling out of belief in the illusion now. It's mind created, and as long as we're invested in mind, we're in the illusion. We're dreaming. It's not that the illusion itself must crumble, just our belief in it. That has to go. The illusion itself is quite fine. There's nothing wrong with it. We just got too far down into it, down the rabbit hole. We lost touch with the greater self in there. We cut ourselves off. And that was part of the plan. So don't condemn self for that or for anything. No condemnation at all. No self-criticism either. All of that is useless, a waste of time and energy. Just let it go. Be empowered, my friends. You can do this. You really can. It's but a shift in perspective that's being called for here, and that is all. Ultimately, that is all. Shift from the head to the heart. It's a major shift, perhaps the biggest you've ever been called on to make. And that's for sure, but I still say, so what? That's nothing to you. So take on your cosmic beinghood, and that will help you for the rest of the trip. Be in heart, only in heart when you do this though, or it'll turn out to be just another ego trip. You know, there's plenty of enlightened egos out there. Watch out for that. Again, that is mind. We find as we walk in this way that mind is the culprit behind most anything that gives us trouble as we go. Now, this is really not mind's fault. It's faulty training and programming that's been inserted in this way and that. We have a good bit to overcome, but again, what's that to you? You're cosmic. It's nothing to the great cosmic being you really are. So just keep centering in heart and observing quietly. That's the trick. All the rest will just fall into place if you're faithful to this. It's very simple, really. Do you see? It's mind that complicates things, always mind. There are some theories of being that are so tremendously complex that I just walk away from them. I refuse to give mind that much allegiance to get down into that. One of these, for example, is that put forward by Ashayana Dean. Way too mental, too complex. No thanks. Now, how could we possibly evaluate this, my friends? We're not currently in any shape to do so. So, bottom line for me is that I would rather live my life without such things. Heart is ever simple. Now, that doesn't mean stupid. If I found any heart at all in what she puts out there, I'd stick around and follow that. But I don't. So I just walk away. The curiosity of mind doesn't rule this one anymore. And when it's so mentally complex that we can't evaluate it, then we're dealing strictly with belief. You just choose to vest belief in it or not. I just don't want to go there. It's not necessary. Now, have you let go curiosity yet? Are you there yet? Have you had that sense of being in that space where there aren't any questions left? It's a feeling that doesn't come across in the description of it, especially to those locked in mind. It seems too bizarre to lose curiosity. How very strange. Well, so what? It is what it is. One has instead this massive sense of peace, of real contentment. It borders on joy, cosmic joy. That's what's there. So, would you trade curiosity for joy? What a funny idea. No, of course not. It doesn't work like that. That's to get into the old thing of bargaining with God. And some people's prayers are like that. Heck, I bet we've all done that at one time or another. And that's just more of mind's way of trying to figure things out. It's purely nonsense. But it isn't until you wake up from it. Until then, it's real. As long as your heart is sincerely into something, go with that, whatever it is. If it's a mistake, well, so what? How can you learn without taking the walk? You can't, of course, and that leaves you stuck if you're unwilling to go for it. Mistakes are not wrong, you know. Each one blesses us and others around us too. Excuse me. Only hindsight shows us this, but perhaps we've seen it in action often enough that we can start to trust a bit and not be so tense. We've got to fall in love with the self. Everything that goes against this will be eventually stripped from us anyway. Yet, we can cooperate, even accelerate the process just by loving self and accepting what is. Byron Katie is great for this. She even has a book titled Loving What Is. If you read it in heart, you'll be converted. You'll see what is meant here. You see, you are that which is. There really is nothing else. Everything is just you. Muji too will help take you there. I discovered he has an iTunes audio podcast, and it's wonderful. The short vids on YouTube get old at times. You really want to bathe and bask in the flow of a certain light there. You want the longer recordings, and you'll find them there. Okay, nothing else comes, so I guess this is finished. Have a blessed now.